Hey guys, how you doing today? So welcome to day one of the 21-day high ticket sales challenge, right? I want to welcome all of you. Thank you for being part of this event. This is the free version, particularly for our GTEX and associate members. But we have a paid version with a 2-day solid, powerful event, 6 hours every day, bringing everyone. We're going to be having a lot of coursework. We're going to be having a lot of assignments. We're going to be adding everyone to a community. And there's so much you're going to be getting in terms of content materials beyond what you're getting this 21 days. But let's start this 21 days, which is giving us introduction into high ticket sales. What's high ticket sales? Basically, it's talking about being able to sell things that are very expensive, like $18K mentorship. Okay, so of course that got people angry. Please, forget that I mentioned that before I start trending again on a negative note. But how do you sell things that are very expensive? I need us to know that sometimes quality, I'm here at Harvard, doing my, owner president's management program, big course, and I'm in my room, my hostel, and I'm looking at how is Harvard able to convince me to pay $150,000 for 3-unit course. We're going to be doing 3 weeks in each unit. How did Harvard University do that? That's a high ticket program. That's when you put that into Nigeria now, for those of you who are Nigerians or Africans, when you multiply it, it's a lot of money. But how did they convince me to do that? How did I get into that mix? And for me, these are things we need to begin to look out for, because many of us think that quality equals to excellence, and that's wrong. Anything of value comes at a cost, heavy cost. Nothing of value is cheap. Nothing. Nothing. And we know this. I've gotten cheap bags. I do a lot of traveling. Sometimes like, hey, you need a bag, and I got some cheap. But guess what? In matter of 1 month, I need to change the bag. Now I've gotten some bag quite expensive and pricey. 5 years is looking as new, leather, solid, knitted, with hand and all of that. So anything that is quality will take time. It will just take time. Rolls Royce is expensive, but you don't keep fixing Rolls Royce with your roadside mechanic every day, right? The leather of Rolls Royce does not tear just like that. These are cars that even turn them to vintage cars, and that's really what high ticket is about. So you need to understand that. Now, there's sometimes where, in the case of high ticket, they're not even selling quality. That's not even the issue, because whether it's the cheap ones or the expensive ones, quality isn't the issue. It's about status, right? So Harvard, for example, isn't just selling education. And you need to know this. It's not about education. MIT, there's other universities that are quite good, and the course curriculum is solid. But Harvard is adding to the curriculum status. You're an Harvard alumni. It's a status. It's a status everybody guards, everybody brags about. Status. Okay? And that takes me to my first course here. And I'm talking about positioning for luxury. How do you position yourself as a salesperson to be able to sell something that is expensive, something that is pricey, something that is luxury? How do you do that? Okay, how do you do that? And I think the first thing is to understand, what do the kind of people that can afford luxury, what do they care about? Yes. What are they interested in? Where do they go? How do they eat? What matters to them? What do they prioritize? Where do their children go? Who do they mix with? What do they value the most? You see, positioning for luxury is heavily, and when I say heavily about where you stand. Do you stand where those kind of customers are standing? Do you sit where they sit? Do you talk where they talk? Do you hang around people like that? And so, when we say you want to sell pricey things, where do you go? What club are you a member of? What kind of game do you play? I understand with most of us who will be watching this, because I came from a very humbling background. If you used to ask me years ago, what do I love the most? I would say it's football, even though I'm not good at playing it. But as I started selling luxury products, I had to learn how to understand the game of polo, the game of golf. Between polo and golf, I eventually love golf more, and so I'm golf. I had to learn to understand what are fancy hotels, that fits the kind of customer I'm trying to attract. And I started doing my event at those kind of places. So I'll share a story with you. Some of you may not know this, but our company started as a digital marketing firm, and before digital marketing, I used to do public speaking. I still do public speaking. So I do consulting, I do a lot of public speaking, helping businesses. And I do consulting, I do a lot of public speaking, helping businesses. And I remember I organized events for business owners, just teaching them marketing and things like that. And I will use, those kind of nameless hotels, if you know what I'm talking about, because it was about, I need the price to be cheap, I need the price to be a certain way. And in fact, there's a particular one I did, and that was the time I knew I was in trouble. I'd managed to pay part payment for the hotel, did publicity, same Ikeja GRA Lagos, which is a good location, but the hotel didn't have a big brand. I eventually ran into losses that my laptop was the guarantee, for because after the event we didn't have enough people show up. It was a loss. We couldn't have all that paid was not even enough to pay for the venue. So I had to drop my laptop. And then the next time I said, we have to change this. The same street, this time around we use an hotel called Protea Hotel. I think the name is changed now. So maybe write this in blue or something. But same street, talking about positioning, guys. So I sent my staff. He went to the general manager, booked the place. They gave him deadline of when we must pay. And, we asked them, okay, can we pay, maybe 2 weeks to the event. They agreed, and they were going to reserve it. They did the marketing flyer, and, we're going to charge you 30,000 Nigerian Naira for this event. But if you pay early, we'll give you 50% discount. Now, that's where the discount thing came from. And it's been one of the best ways to raise capital for me in business, where I'm able to literally lower the price. I don't even mind. Most times I'm either losing money or the exact cost is what I'm charging. But at least it helps us to pay the bills. So we did that. Ladies and gentlemen, same street, the previous one, we didn't even have up to 10 people. We ran into losses, and I even charged lower. Now, I was charging 5,000 Naira and we ran into loss, and we didn't have enough people. Now I'm charging 30,000, giving early bird to pay 15. And ladies and gentlemen, the venue was, I think, 40-seater. We had, I think, 46. Some people had to, had to move the chairs forward to accommodate. It was packed. That was when I understand the power of positioning in business, and that, look, if you don't position, same content. And you remember, same speaker, it was me. Same content, same street. But one hotel had a better name, a better brand, a better high net worth people love to go there. And just seeing the name, it connected with the price point. And this is very key, very, very important. And so, for charging $18,000 or whatever, was bad PR, if you look at it that way. But oh boy, was one of the best positioning that has ever happened to my brand. Because now people see me and they're, oh, that expensive guy, that ethical guy, no, it has the downside, right? Because now, when my name is mentioned anywhere, people want to charge me triple and quarter%. The guy is rich, he charged 18,000. Okay. But in reality, it's a yearly course, it's for 1 whole year. Right? And you have no idea what they will be gaining that 1 year. You have their access to my contact, my relationship, my networks. They have access to everything I have. Somebody help me explain. I'm begging you to these people. Let them leave me alone. But on a serious note, it was a positioning message. Some people even think I orchestrated the trend. I, just intentionally did it. I didn't. Trust me. I was even on my way out of the country. It wouldn't have trended if I was even, because if I had noticed it was going that route, I would have deleted. I asked my team. I'm big on social media. I'm one of the biggest social media strategists you ever meet. But I was on my way to Doha when they made the post. I got to Doha, I was tired, I had to sleep. So the thing had almost 24 hours to populate, and by the time I got to see it, it's gone viral. I just had to own it. But it was good for positioning. We had more people sign up for the coaching. We had more people subscribe for the coaching, and it was good for business. So positioning is important. Yes, sometimes we pitch you against other people with certain idealistic mindset, with certain, it's charging the poor people can't pay $18,000 to start with. But you see, the part of it is, why did they post it on Facebook? Facebook isn't a place you're going to meet a lot of rich people. Now, the same content on Instagram did not go viral negatively. Same post on Instagram did well. No issue. Same thing about talking about the same street. One got the venue packed when the price was triple. One, same street, but the brand, because it attracts certain kind of people. Right, so very important in positioning yourself. Now, finally, don't make the mistake that my social media team made, right? Certain content are meant for certain places. So what am I saying? One of the most powerful positioning you must do is to position yourself as somebody who is not necessarily selling cheap, right? Because when you position yourself as premium, then it's easy to sell something that is cheap. But when you position yourself as cheap, you will never be able to sell premium. So I want to advise you, right? Certain content are meant for certain places. So what am I saying? One of the most powerful positioning you must do is to position yourself as somebody who is not necessarily selling cheap, right? Because when you position yourself as premium, then it's easy to sell something that is cheap. But when you position yourself as cheap, you will never be able to sell premium. So I want to advise you, don't come, I say this, lazy salespeople come with a cheap strategy. It's laziness of the highest order. It's a proof you're lazy, but nothing but lazy. Very smart salespeople go for the top, and then they could trickle it down, right? But they go position for the top. That's the rule. That's the mindset. That's the strategy. Stick to it. It works any day, anytime. Well, I'm Dr. Stephen Akintayo. I hope you got value on this first one. Now, do me a favor. I want you, particularly this season, I'm taking testimony seriously, right? Because they need to know what we stand for, guys. They need to know. They need to know who Stephen Akintayo is. These people don't know. And you know, don't follow me on YouTube. I don't watch the value I bring to the table. So, share the testimony of this video. Please do that. It's the least you can do for putting in 21 days to teach you without charging you. Guys, please go do that. And I really will appreciate that. And I think evil thrive when light goes silent, right? Evil thrive in the absence of light. If there's enough people saying knowledge is important, training is important, Dr. Stephen is still learning, paying money, mentoring, reaching out to mentors and learning from them, even at this success level. So why should anybody be angry with him for charging? But you need to speak out. You can't. I've said this over time. When I did a post at some point about Daddy Gio, right? And I said, the problem is not those who are after Daddy Gio. The problem is more about those who keep quiet, okay, and don't talk about their testimonies and the impact of Daddy Gio in their lives. Those are the people we should talk about, right? Because if you have somebody who's added value to you and somebody keeps going, damaging their reputation, and you keep quiet, it's just say, well, it's opinion. Now you are empowering those people to continue. You're empowering evil to continue. And you're discouraging good people from saying, well, if I do good as well, they could drag me. I know a very powerful woman who could have added so much value on social media space. She has a lot to teach. Each time she could be telling Doc, if I post now, they will drag me. What do I even have to say? They can begin to complain. They can do this. They can do that. And this is why evil continues to continue. So speak up. Speak for good. I love you all. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.